What is going on and welcome. I'm assuming you clicked here because you want to know what's better, the Miata or the BRZ, the Subaru or the Mazda. We're going to give you everything you need to know to make that decision. If you're new, welcome to the channel, welcome to the community. Bro, we have entertaining ass content around racing games, Forza Horizon 3, Forza 7, whatever it may be. Is lit, bro. We live stream every single day and we vlog once a week. So if you want to be a part, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss those streams. Today we're going to be taking a look at a lot of factors around these cars. First off, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, these are going to be homologated to A-Class 700. That's going to be the rating where you can actually take these things online. I could leave them as stock cars, but you're not going to be able to actually race them online, so it's not really going to hold a lot of value. So there's going to be some rules put in place. There's going to be no external changes to the car, no changes to the rims, no aero, no engine swaps, no drive train swaps, nothing that really changes what the car truly is, no forced induction. So going from there, basically we start off with a handling build, beef up the handling as much as possible, and then weight reduction as much as possible, and then move into power until we hit that A-Class 700 rating. That's how both these cars have been tuned, and then they've been tuned by myself primarily to reduce oversteer and increase stability. Now that we got that out of the way, we're going to be testing these cars in a few different ways. We're going to be doing all three different lengths of drag races, the quarter, the half, and the full mile. So I'm really excited to see how these stack up, because as you know, the BRZ has more power, but the Miata is lighter. So who's going to be faster at what distances? Let's find out. Next up, we're going to be taking these cars onto Monza. We're going to run 4 laps at Monza, and I take my best lap from each and use that as the lap time for each car. After Monza, which is a big track with a lot of straightaways, really focuses on if you have a fast car in a straight line rather than an overall good race car. So we need to move to another track, which is going to be Rio, which really puts a race car to the test. We're talking changes in terrain, mass changes in elevation, probably the most changes in terrain and elevation you're going to find out of almost any track. And there's also some tight technical turns, but there's a lot of fast sweeping turns that require a lot of handling and speed as well. So those are going to be all the tests that we go over here. So let's get into the specs of these cars out of the gate. So starting off with the Subaru BRZ, man, really close to my heart. I love this car. I want to own it really badly. So you could say this is a little biased. What I will say is that I've raced the BRZ more than I've raced the Miata, much more. So you can consider that in the lap times. But other than that, everything else is going to be unbiased because I'm just going to give you straight facts. So BRZ, after being homologated, had 354 horsepower, not too bad. Only 248 pound-feet of torque at 2,350 pounds. Now, what figures are really important is the horsepower to weight ratio and the torque to weight ratio. We're getting about 1 horsepower per 6.6 pounds. At pound-feet of torque, this is where this gets bad, okay? At 1 foot-pound of torque, that 1 foot-pound of torque has to pull 9.5 pounds of the car. That's pretty heavy. So once all that was factored in, we came up with these ratings. The Mazda MX-5 had some surprising stats. At 308 horsepower, it only had to pull 1,872 pounds. So although it has less horsepower, you're getting about 1 horsepower for every 6.07 pounds, which is better than the Subaru BRZ. Pound-feet of torque is where this thing got crazy. You're getting 262 pound-feet of torque, or 1 pound-foot for every 7.15 pounds. Much better than the Subaru BRZ at 9.5 pounds. A big difference there. With that being said, here are the ratings you're actually going to get with the Miata. Surprisingly, decently lower speed. But speed does not always play that big of a factor. Now here we get into the actual testing, here we get into the good stuff, where you guys are actually going to find out what is the better car. Starting off with the quarter-mile drag race, it is pretty clear, I thought going into it, that the Miata was definitely going to take this, and the Miata did, running a 12.346 over the Subaru BRZ's 12.647. In the half mile is where I was admittedly hoping things would change. The BRZ ran a time of 19.15 seconds, and then the Miata ran a time of 18.58 seconds again beating the BRZ. In the full mile though, in the full mile, I was sure the BRZ would take it, and the BRZ ran a 30.51, where the Miata ended up running a 30.065. So the Miata won out on all three events, clear winner when it comes to straight line speed, and I really believe that is due to the torque of the Miata. The BRZ, although it has 354 horsepower, has a terrible 248 pound-feet of torque, where the Miata has 262 pound-feet of torque, or I should say MX-5. So then we head over to Monza. Monza, you're gonna think for sure this is gonna be the BRZ's chance to actually win because of that horsepower gain and that really, really long straightaway. And it actually proved to be true. The BRZ ran a time on Monza of 1 minute 48 seconds, a solid time, and that was compared to the Mazda MX-5 at 1 minute 49.7 seconds, the BRZ winning by over a second. Now we do have to factor in that I love the BRZ and I have driven it more than the Miata, but I will say the BRZ had way more stability and handling than the Miata. There was a really big difference between the two. You could take corners faster in the BRZ than the Miata, and I think that is going to be the same for everyone. Although I do have more experience with the BRZ, I think overall the BRZ does handle a lot better and deals with changes of directions and stuff like that much better than the MX-5. So once we finished up on Monza, which was a ton of fun to drive on, those long straightaways are always nice to see what speeds you can hit in whatever car you're driving. Then we headed over to Rio, where things got exciting. I mean, Rio, you're just on your toes the whole race, trying to maintain control of your car, trying to take those fast sweeping turns at highest speeds while, you know, going over different changes in terrain and elevations. It is crazy. So in Rio, I was really on the fence. I had raced on Monza first, and I came to the realization that the Miata didn't handle very well. But the Miata has a lot more torque than the BRZ, and especially considering it's lighter than the BRZ. So I thought maybe, you know, the Miata is gonna take this. On Rio with the Subaru BRZ, it was easy to put down consistent lap times. The BRZ was fairly stable because these cars are upgraded so heavily from D-Class all the way to A700. They aren't the most stable cars, but the BRZ can definitely get it done. The BRZ put down a time of 2 minutes and 25.1 seconds, as the finish was very close. The Mazda MX-5 finished with a time of 2 minutes, 25 seconds, but where are those decimal places taking us? Is it gonna win or is it going to lose? And it finished at 25.45 seconds. So it ended up losing, but very narrowly. So in conclusion, the BRZ put better lap times around the track, but the Mazda Miata dominated in a straight line. Now it's very arguable that if I had more experience with the Miata and really got a good feel for the way it handles, that maybe I could have put down a faster time in Rio or maybe even Monza. So for that reason, I'm definitely gonna leave the decision up to you guys. What do you guys think the better car is? I mean, you guys don't really have the feeling of knowing how unstable the Miata is compared to the BRZ, but again, if you had more experience with the car, you might be able to put down some good stuff. The BRZ was consistent. The Miata, I did have a couple crashes on because it's just, when you change direction, it's really prone to losing control and spinning out. It's very hard to keep, maintain traction. With that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you want to see more like this, let me know in the comment section, and I hope to see you on live stream every day, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, no one loves their subs like this guy. Take it easy. I'm Mel.